Okay, so we've established the z-score. This is at 95% confidence level, and we go to the next step. Okay, so the hypothesis testing, instead of saying 95% confidence level, they flip it around and say 0.05 significance level. So now we're talking about the alpha. Instead of dividing it by 2, because we're considering both sides of the tail, we say, well, complement of 0.95 is 0.05, and that is the level at which we will not accept the null hypothesis. So just hang in there. So for now, just remember significance level alpha is 1 minus the confidence level. So in this case, we say significance level is 0.05. This is same as in what we did in chapter 7. So if my z-score is between, let's see, negative 1.96 and positive 1.96. In other words, if my p-hat, the sampling sample proportion, is in the middle, that is close enough to my 0.4, then we say we do not reject the null hypothesis that p is equal to 0.40 at 0.05 significance level. Okay, that's a mouthful, so we're going to practice that. So here's an example. Well, here's a visual of what I just said. If my p-hat lands in the middle, 95%, then we believe that actual proportion of people who get up at before 8 is 40%. If my z-score lands outside of this 95%, either in the left tail, in the shaded area, or the right tail, then we say we don't believe that p is equal to 0.4. It's either much smaller or much higher. In this case, we say we reject the hypothesis that p is equal to 0.4. Okay, we reject the hypothesis. That is the language. So, sorry about the writing here, but here are 2 examples. If the z-score of sample proportion p-hat is 1.76, then the z-score is in between negative 1.96 and positive 1.96. So this is not in the rejection area. So we say we do not reject the null hypothesis that p is equal to 0.4 at 0.05 significance level. Okay, remember our null hypothesis is that p is equal to 40. So my p-hat is 1.96. The z-score is in the middle, 95%. So we do not reject the null hypothesis. Okay, in a second case, if z-score of p-hat is negative 2.10, in which case it is not in the middle 95%. It's not between negative 1.96 and positive 1.96. It's outside. It's negative 2.10 is out here. So that means we're going to reject the hypothesis. So we reject the null hypothesis that p is equal to 0.40 at 0.05 significance level. Okay, that's all we're going to practice today. This is a really complicated concept, so we're taking 1 step each day. So try these 4 problems and write out the statements just like I did with 1 and 2. Decide which scenario it is and write out the complete statements. And that is it for today.